Hello everyone and welcome to the 26th Sunday in Ordinary Time. And today we need to talk about scandal. The readings today are essentially about scandal. Last week, we're just coming from last week, and remember that the disciples were arguing about who among them was the greatest. And Jesus took a child and said, essentially, this is child. You have to be like this child in order to enter the kingdom. This child is the greatest in the kingdom, okay? That child has not left the scene. Okay, so a lot of times we don't really know because we have these chapters and these verses that split things kind of awkwardly, but that child is still in the scene. When John comes up to him in today's reading and says, "Teacher, we saw someone casting out demons in your name and we try to forbid him because he's not following us." And Jesus says, "Don't do that. Anyone who's doing something in my name, he's on your side." Okay, so that helps us to realize that sometimes the people who are working for the kingdom aren't necessarily the people that we think are working for the kingdom. And on the other hand, sometimes there are people who are claiming to work for the kingdom, but they are causing great scandal. Okay, a lot of people are calling themselves Catholics these days, and they're not following the teachings of Jesus Christ and the church. And the children see this. Okay, the child is sitting there, and he is still watching everything that Jesus is saying and that the disciples are doing. Nothing has changed for the last 2,000 years, okay? And so, I mean, we can just see it in today's culture and in the numbers and in how kids have grown up these days. You can take your kids to church, you can put your kids in Catholic schools, but if they don't see the faith lived out at home, they're probably not going to continue in the faith. Okay, it's a scandal. It's a scandal that these children are not able to see the faith lived out. And in the second reading, they talk about the wealthy. Now, is having wealth necessarily a scandal in itself? No. But what it does is it makes us think that we don't need God. Okay. And so what happens is you might go to Mass on Sundays. Most Catholics in this country don't even go to Mass, right? But for those, they live as if they don't need God. Okay, you don't need to pray. It's all just kind of something that we do for some reason, okay? But as many people will say, and I can't stand this phrase, we're moving past that, okay? It's an obnoxious phrase, okay? We're moving past God. We're moving past religion. We're moving past the Catholic Church, because we've somehow gotten smarter than all that, right? And so when kids see this, and they're sure going to be taught this at school, especially if it's not a Catholic school, then they're not going to continue on in the faith. And this is a scandal. This is a grave scandal. And this is what Jesus has to say for those who cause this scandal. Whoever causes one of these little ones who believes in me to sin, it would be better for him if a great millstone were hung around his neck and he were thrown into the sea. Okay. And if your right hand causes you to sin, cut it off. It is better for you to enter life maimed than with two hands to go to hell, to the unquenchable fire. And if your foot causes you to sin, cut it off. It is better for you to enter life lame than to go with 2 feet, than to have your 2 feet and be thrown into hell. Jesus isn't messing around with this one. Okay. The scandal that we have caused our kids and our grandkids is damnable. If we don't want to take our faith seriously, that's one thing. Okay, that's on us. But when we start to scandalize others, when we say, I'm a Catholic, but, my favorite, I'm a Catholic, but I do this, so it's okay. You're causing scandal. And if your issue isn't with me, this is the word of God saying, this is what will happen if you cause one of these little ones to sin. This is dead serious. This is as serious as it gets. Okay, I know there's a heresy going on right now, and it's getting a lot of attention called universalism, that in the end everyone will be saved. It's not true. You can hear this in these very words, where you will be thrown into hell, to the unquenchable fire. Well, obviously it's quenchable if it's going to end one day. Okay, now, hell is a place that people go, and it's forever. Okay. That's why our faith is so incredibly serious. And I know threatening people with hell and that sort of thing doesn't work anymore. People just say, well, I'm not going to believe that. Okay. Well, it's interesting because you can stand on a train track and you don't have to believe that that train is coming at you. But if you don't get off the track, sooner or later, something's going to happen that's very objective. That train is going to hit. All right. We live our lives on the train tracks as if nothing's going to happen. All right. So it's not a threat. It's just what Jesus has told us. And that's the negative side of things. God has given us so many wonderful things. He's given us this faith to pass on to our children. It's the greatest gift ever. Obviously, if you're watching that, someone passed the faith on to you. What a wonderful gift. And God, in his providence, has made it so that you can have that. Not everyone has been given that. Therefore, it's our responsibility to hand it to other people. All right? It's our responsibility to live that faith. And that faith gives us so much joy. Why wouldn't we give it to our children and to those who we are responsible for to give it to? And it's true, we all fail. We all fall short sometimes. That's fine. But what a wonderful thing it would be for our kids and our grandkids and those who are under us to see us say, you know what, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. We have to continue following Jesus. You know, I lived a certain part of my life in a way that I shouldn't be. We need to go to confession and we need to go to church. That will speak volumes to children. Even if they seem like they're not listening or they don't care, believe me, they are listening and they do care. So as we approach the table of the Lord today and we receive Jesus, let us ask Jesus, Jesus, please keep us from scandal. Okay, sins may come. We will make mistakes. Okay, but let us always try to amend our ways. Let us say, I'm sorry, and go to confession and try to amend our lives and be good examples to everyone around us so that all of us one day may see Jesus in heaven face to face.